What is going on, guys? We are back with another podcast, and we have some special guests in the house.
And I don't know about you, Jory. I don't know about everybody in the house today, but I am super excited to be in the presence, a Hall of Famer such as yourself, that has been responsible for so many kilowatts, so many teams, and building such a big book of business throughout the entire Southeast, East Coast, everywhere practically. And now in the house, we have two of the finest solar leaders in the industry. We have Tony Tenorio is in the house, a.k.a. Tony the Tiger. Let's hear it for Tony.
Thank you much. Thank you much.
And we have in the house George Page, the godfather of solar.
Bow, 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 bow.
Let's
Yeah.
go. And you know what? We get to a certain level of leadership and we have nicknames, just like Jory is known as the Juice. I was actually named by the godfather of solar, Pistol Pete. He's in the house and he named me Pistol Pete. So he has the nickname Godfather of Solar. And Tony earned the nickname Tiger because he is just a tiger and he roars it up on the doors, recruiting and leading from the front. So anyway, having said that, we're super excited to have you in the house today. Mm-hmm. And I think that what the theme of today, one of the themes that I love to share is two of the most high-end processed, best practice, high level of integrity people, leaders that I know in the entire industry. You dot your I's, cross your T's, believe in process, and I think that's one of the main reasons why you build such a book of business and have such a leadership team member following. So, Tony, if you'd like to share a little bit about some of your secret sauce of how you build a book of business.
One of the first cues I took in the industry was from George Page.
Oh.
When we first got started, and we cut our teeth at a different company, it's nice to be able to be in this room and sit across and with people that we've been with for years. That's a distinction between where we are now, where we've been in the past, and where we plan to be, because not everybody in the solar industry can say that. It's like musical chairs. But being able to learn the process step by step from GP, from Pistol Pete, and then adding to that, learning from Jory, who was doing door-to-door long before I was, and I think for the number of years in the industry, more than GP and Pete too, right?
Mm-hmm. Man, I'm the oldest 33-year-old you're ever going to meet, man. I am.
I can't imagine what that kind of start would have given you, where I did this, I saw this opportunity as a way for me to buy back time. And because that was my goal, I needed to make sure that everything that I did was above board, was per the process, so that the families that I was meeting, I was taking the best possible care I could. And that came from watching, listening George Page tell his stories about how he met families, what he told them, and how he explained the process so that when they enrolled, they knew from that point forward that a friend was going to bring them through that process, help them cross the finish line, and be in a better place than they were before. So the way that you explained, right, this is the problem, this is the solution, and here's how we're going to help you, that's what taught me how to move forward and do the same thing.
Wonderful.
And I have to say that I'm super excited about the fact that we are building an incredible leadership team here at Titan Energy Services. And a lot of us came from previous companies and all joined together. It's like feeling like we're all back home. So these are some of our roots that are making us sprout out now and build something super strong. And with that, George, I remember in the early days being in those correlations at previous organizations, and your phone would be ringing off the hook. So share with us some of that secret sauce of building that book of business.
First of all, I'm just glad to be a part of this team, starting back in 2017 and getting involved into the solar industry. It was not something that I was actually expecting to do. The opportunity actually knocked on my door. The same way that we give that opportunity to homeowners by knocking on their door. And I can just say it was just a grateful opportunity. And to be here now and back with the crew and the team that we originally started with it's once again, it's like a breath of fresh air. Taking care of the homeowners is something that I take pride in because I treat every homeowner as if it were myself or my family. Again, remembering going back solar from day one, myself and my family going solar, it allows me to see the things that I'm able to do for the homeowners that may or may not have been done for me. So I make it, a very strong point to do those extra things, go above and beyond, and to let them know that they are with family. This is not a short-term relationship. Although your install may take 60, 90, 120 days, once that glass is on your roof and you're now producing your own power in your home, guess what? You have a friend for life. And by being that friend for life, they always know that they can depend on you. And I think in this industry, that's the most important thing to be able to transpire over to homeowners, is to let them know that you're not a fly-by-night. You're going to be here with them. You're going to be by their side. No question is stupid.
Yeah,
we're going to
sure.
grow together, and we're going to watch you save and produce your power, and I'm just a phone call away.
Yeah, love it.
So I'll say this: you guys, when you guys enroll a family to go solar, they're going solar. So I want to talk about the not sexy word in the room, and that room is like paperwork, like processes, right? So how do you guys, because traditionally in this space, somebody will sign a deal and 40, maybe 50%, if they're lucky, will go to install. But you guys are averaging anywhere from 65 to 75%. And that's a massive gap. There's a lot of money to be made there. So if you guys can talk about how the heck do you get like all your homeowners to actually go solar in a competitive industry and a competitive like atmosphere, how do you guys do it?
And quite frankly, I was looking at the reports the other week, and like Tony and George, like they're in the 90 to 98% range of the homeowners they enroll going all the way to the finish line and getting the glass on the roof and becoming energy independent.
Yeah, so it's very rare, right? So how do people listening to this, whether with Titan or not, how did they get better by doing paperwork? What are some things that you do to make sure your homeowners go solar?
The golden rule: love the one you're with. You don't want to just be another number. If you're approaching and dealing with your homeowner and treating them just like another number, then that's what they're going to feel like. Giving them that attentiveness and being there for them and answering those questions, and again, letting them know that you're with them all the way through the entire process. It creates a security blanket for them, and that's what everyone wants, is to feel secure on any decision that we're going to make, especially a decision like that. It's going to be long-term on our home, a new idea that they may not be that familiar with. That's our job, is to basically make sure that we inform them, we teach them, we educate them on how solar is going to be able to help them, and that, again, we're going to be there with them all the way.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this, Tony, you are very active in our CRM. So what are some like go-to just like moves for you to make sure daily that your accounts are moving forward?
As far as progression, it's going to be out when we make that initial contact and paint that picture for them, that we are going to be able to hold their hand throughout the process, and that it's an open dialogue. Whenever they call, we're going to be there. The power that we have in the tools that we've been given allow us to push those accounts forward without a whole lot of work, right? Because we have transparency, we can share that transparency with a homeowner, allowing them to know what the timeline and the process is going to look like, because that's typically where it falls apart. They have an expectation. When we're able to paint that picture for them clearly, from the time we sit down to the time that it goes through each of the stages, right? It helps them to feel secure. And when we let them know the good, the bad, and the ugly, they recognize that we're there for their benefit.
Yeah.
When we talk about, let's not use that word in the room, right? Sales is one that we shy away from because it's not who we are. If we're selling them, we're not doing the right job for the homeowner. If we're educating them when we're holding their hand and bringing them all the way through, after they understand what a blessing it would be to stop renting power, to stop doing things the old way, and to be able to charge forward, that's part of the reason I love doing this.
Yeah. So you're transparent with the homeowner. And one thing you liked, you said the good, the bad and the ugly, because sometimes solar can get ugly. Sometimes MPUs happen, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes there's too much shading. Sometimes the roof's not as good as we thought it was, right? Sometimes the offset goes down. There always seems to be something, some obstacle that happens. And this actually brings me to a next topic. You guys are vulnerable with your customers, and you're vulnerable with people that choose to follow you. And Pete and I were actually talking about this yesterday, and I was like, man, I feel like when I started the industry in 2008, it was always macho. What do we do with our muscles? We build more muscles, right? And I feel like leadership is changing. I feel like we can be honest, we can be vulnerable with our people. If we make a mistake, I feel like people nowadays, especially, there's like a new version of a leader. They want to understand that their leader makes a mistake, but the leader gets better. And I think vulnerability is a superpower now. It's not always, if there is a problem on operations side, like Pete and I test our previous company when we're sitting in this circle, you never can say a bad thing. You can never have a real conversation because that means that you're not all in. That's not true.
Right. And I think another way to expand on what you're talking about is that we want to create a safe place in every aspect of our organization, whether it be operations, sales, leadership. We all want to be in a safe place to get better. And the only way to do that is to be more vulnerable.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, right? What are your guys' thoughts on vulnerability in leadership?
I mean, again, it's like the same thing goes right back to the same thing you just said. It's about being transparent. When someone comes on board and they don't see those walls that are put up that says, hey, that section over here I don't belong to, or I'm kept away from knowing any of this knowledge or information over here. When that's pushed away, and now everyone's a family, when everyone's together, when everyone's learning together, when everyone's sharing new information with one another, it makes it a more of a family environment where everyone's comfortable to grow. And that's what we're looking to do, is to grow, and we're continuing to grow. But you can't have growth without togetherness, being able to, like you said, being transparent, being vulnerable. It's no shame when you're with family.
Yeah. Tony, leaders make mistakes, right?
Denial is not just a river in Egypt. And when you share that with your reps, when you can get real with them on a level where they don't feel like you're elevated, right? If you're willing to admit that you're going to make mistakes and own up to them, and they see that when you do make that mistake, because I'll make them, I have, and I'll continue to, but it's those mistakes that push me forward, that drive me forward, that make me better, because I'm not going to make that same mistake again. And that will allow me to teach them to not make that same mistake in their careers.
Yeah, I love it. And I hope people are listening, really tuned in to what we're talking about, because it can be a superpower, because that can be a separator from you and any other leader, is that, hey, this person here makes mistakes and they actually own up to it. It's not always go, 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 go. It's, hey, there's a problem. Let's solve that problem. Let's be solution minded, and let's have an open communication, because when people feel safe in an environment to fail, that's when you know that you have the right culture. They can fail, and they can fail safely without repercussions, and they can grow forward from that fail. That's when you start really building out a brand. You start building out a sales function. You start building out a company.
This is the raw culture that we want to develop and grow and embrace. This is not textbooks, psychology, figuring out how to deal or be a better listener and be something that's not raw and not real. We want to create an environment that's like what George says, is family oriented. It's sincere. Some of us are going to have strengths in other areas than others, but together we are super strong and undivided. We're united, and together we all win.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's a fantastic point, because with the amount of time that we've spent with one another, we know each other's strengths and weaknesses. I know if I stumble and I have a problem, I know who I can reach out to, and I'm not embarrassed to do it. And I know when I reach out and ask in that vulnerable moment, it's going to be positive.
Nothing but
right?
support.
Yep, absolutely. There's no superficial relationships here. We're not just going to buy you some flashy things in order to hide your feelings. We're not doing that. We're just real and raw here. So next, like speaking of real and raw, you guys are building out your teams right now, and you guys are doing a phenomenal job, right? The feedback I get is you guys put your people first. But I would say the hardest transition in solar is the transition from not just becoming a closer or a setter to a closer, but now starting to gain influence. And that like the first like step of leadership is gaining influence, recruiting people to come set with you, to close their deals, to recruit to your team. So can you guys give some advice to new leaders that are building out their teams? Because that's the hardest, like when I look at leaders, they fail or they have a hard time going from like 3 leaders to 5 or 3 people to 5 people to 10 people. So can you guys give some advice to new leaders starting out, like basically telling them not to give up essentially?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say lead from the front, lead by example. I think a lot of, especially agents or reps that have come over from another company and had a different experience, that when they're able to come over and see, wait a minute, wow, my leader's actually caring about my homeowners. My leader's actually, he's at all of his installs. He's asking and involving us to come out and join those experiences. Once again, you're involving them. And when they see that camaraderie that's capable of being produced, it's kind of unstoppable. I mean, most people want to be a part of that,
Yeah.
And it's contagious.
It is. And don't hold anything back. The information that's important to us will be important to them. They just don't know it yet, right? So one of the first things I do when I meet somebody that wants to come on board is we have a discussion. It's not 3 to 5 minutes. I'm going to dig in and find out what it is that they want for this opportunity to provide them. If I can understand that, then mathematically, just like the processes we talked about before, I can back into what that individual schedule is supposed to look like. And it's not just about the money they want to make. Mm-hmm. That's all good. But in this industry, if you put your head down, you'll get to that monetary goal. If that's all you have to push you, you're going to run out of gas quick. Okay? So understanding personal goals, their why they want to make this transition. Mm-hmm. That's what we can help them to understand so that they've always got that fuel in the tank instead of chasing a paycheck.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. We talked about that yesterday at the correlation. When discipline is your baseline because motivation is going to fail at some point, right? So Pete, let me ask you this. You are one of the most disciplined people I have ever met. I thought I was a workhorse until I met Peter Winston, right? And then I realized that the old saying, like, New York never sleeps, well, he brought that down to the Sunshine State. So can we talk about discipline? Because you're one of the best when it comes to like just attacking your dreams. Even though you don't have to work, you can literally lay out by the sun, play golf all day. But even with all that success you've had, how do you attack like your dreams, your vision? How do you just go all the dang time?
Yeah, I think there's a purpose. I think there's a greater good. I mean, there's many careers that I've had in my life, both related and not related to renewable energy. But the core careers that I had early on in my life were not related to renewable energy. And I don't think, whereas they were successful, it wasn't how I measured success. And something about renewable energy, the mission that we're on, the Great Green Movement, has given me that passion for the greater good beyond that of the dollar sign. We're on a mission together, and the mission includes not only helping our own why, which is part of it, and good. It's good to build some generational wealth for our families, take care of our own, but we're genuinely helping families in a major crisis. It's been a major crisis since day one with renewable energy. We are concerned about breathing clean air. We're concerned about the environment in all different levels. We're concerned about the economy and the economics of costs of anything from eggs to butter to your energy costs are out of control right now, right?
Yep.
Right? So we're really, truly helping the families, helping our own why, and we're helping the environment. And for me, we're only given one chance on this earth to make a mark. And for me, that is what drives me. That makes a long-term mark. I can make a difference and be part of something great. We can give other people a great opportunity to have a career for their families. Yep. That's a massive, massive driver.
Yeah, no, P always says, like, it doesn't matter what political view you stand with, breathing clean air is something we all need. And I really couldn't like agree more with that. And I don't drink energy drinks very often, but I went today and bought some energy drinks. I noticed that sucker went up $1.50 for 3. I'm like, whoa, it's
Wow.
expensive.
Yeah.
Right?
Crazy.
Like I know I'll drink. It's been like 2 months and I've decided to get a drink and it's more expensive. So everything is going up. So speaking of everything going up, I mean, guys, the time is now. Like we all thought like there was a time where solar was up, it was down, it was level. Do we get out of solar? Do we get back into solar? And all of a sudden, all the utilities, it seemed like across the country is going up 10, 20%. It is absolutely insane. So can we talk a little about like, I feel like the gold rush of solar is just beginning.
You know what? Thank goodness we are part of an inside sales direct organization that has been around probably one of the longest in the industry and has the foundation and experience to be prepared for what we're about to embark on.
Yep.
But having said that, there's a lot of, because of a gold rush, what happens? There's a lot of companies that should be doing well that are falling by the wayside, right? They're going out of business or they can't keep their commitments. There's new companies sprouting up just offering, stock ownership just to come on board, but aren't prepared operationally. Here we are prepared 100% operationally to take on what's going to happen in the next 10 years. The economy, the people need our help more now than ever. And with our best practices and our techniques in building a book of business, we're able to dominate the field. And that's why we're growing so fast and so many leaders want to join our cause. We're up to how many leaders now? Dozens upon dozens of massive, successful leaders are bringing their teams over now because they want to be a part of this. And all our leadership put together enables us to scale and grow and build our family in a way that is just unstoppable.
Yeah, no, one thing I love about Titan is they didn't build their business just to sell. They built their business to make sure that the homeowner has the best experience for the full 25 years and beyond. And with that, we can really scale inside of Titan. Like literally, it's been the best fresh of breath air, right? To like come over to Titan direct and work exclusively with them, work with the leaderships, the owners, the founders. It's been an amazing experience.
I mean, we're working to do something for the greater good. Yeah. We want to give back to the communities. We love the mission statement of Titan and how they want to give back to the communities, our partnerships with Give Power, our partnerships with Make-A-Wish. We truly want to be a part of the community and give back. And I think that's a big separator between other companies and ourselves. And the amount of best practices that we're doing on the inside. We are the front lines to set the pace for good customer service, good best practices, so that we build that inside reputation. We're here, we're committed. I don't know about you. I don't know about you. I don't know about you, but would you say, what is your thoughts on our commitment to making sure that homeowner has, I don't know about you, but what is your feeling on the commitments to make the homeowners have an 100% amazing renewable energy experience? George, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, just being a part of Titan and seeing their entire process, not only as an energy consultant, but again, with the relationship to the homeowner, everyone's included from A to Z. So being able to have that type of interaction and contact with each department, whether it be from permitting, whether it be from engineering or install, it doesn't matter. But being a part of that entire process and having that at our disposal, again, it just makes it such a much better, easier process for the homeowner. And we always feel like we're in the loop as well. We don't have to guess and wonder, hey, what's going on here? What's going on there? Everything is at our fingertips.
Having seen and been, right, in other places where we didn't have.
Guessing game.
Yes.
Or a sales pushback of pushing it back on you, or you're not able to be safe again to talk about what needs to be done to make the homeowner's experience 100% amazing.
That was an important factor for me in this decision, right? Are the families that I'm going to introduce to this opportunity going to be taken care of in a way that at the level that I would take care of them? And that wasn't always the case. And to see that happen here now, not once, not twice, but over and over and over again, proving it out, that's what gives me the confidence to go out and speak with more and more homeowners, leverage those installations and those families that we've had in the past that are having a fantastic experience. Could have been better, but because we're there to bridge the gap, they're still having that positive experience to the point where they're willing to share our names with their friends, with their families, anybody that they meet who are in this situation that we're in now. When we first learned this, I learned a 2.9% increase in the industry, right? That's what rates were going up. There were some utilities that were going up at 5.5%.
Yeah.
So to see now a minimum of 29.5 all the way up to 32, almost 32.5%.
That's crazy.
It's when you talk about a solar gold rush, we're in it. And there was a time when I questioned whether or not there would be longevity in this industry.
Yep.
And the utility companies have
They've
proven it out.
Yeah, like 100%. So it's funny that you mentioned transparency, and two homeowners asked me where they're at in their timeline. I hopped on our CRM NetSuite, and within like 2 minutes, I was able to respond back to them, tell them exactly where they are, and they said thank you. And it's funny that you mentioned like doing the right thing the right way, and so I enrolled one of my neighbors with my previous company, and it did not go very well, and their system was not producing what it was, and their daughter and son play with my daughters, sorry, and then so essentially I gave back all the commission I made on them because the system's not acting right, and the previous company has to figure it out. But it almost ruined my relationship with my neighbor because I thought that I can trust them, and at the end of the day, I've had Titan on my home now for over 4.5 years, and I've been very satisfied with it. And that really kind of helps solidify the situation is, I've had Titan for almost 5 years now. I'm very satisfied. I enroll my neighbor with not Titan, and it has been a nightmare and almost ruined my relationship with what I thought was a good friend that I don't have many outside the industry. So speaking of Titan and all the amazing things that we're doing, let's talk about why Titan. Why Titan?
I think why Titan is because Titan believes in themselves. The whole point of even starting Titan, we have CEOs that went out and started from the ground up that, basically said, hey, how are we going to learn this? They didn't know how to even do an install. They looked on YouTube. And to see where we are right now with these seamless installs going in, with crews that are out, that are showing up on time, that are being respectful to the homeowners, that are, informing of any slight changes or anything that may happen immediately during the install. Again, it's that seal of approval of we are Titan. Being there 100% for the homeowner, being there for the reps, no matter what it is, and a constant level of growth is what Titan's been about, and it's what we're still about.
Yeah.
It's just making me so happy. I'm just realizing now that since we've come over here and what we're building is so special and exciting. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really, really happy to get out of bed in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I think for me, the core is we're operationally driven. We're contractor focused. We have the experience. And most importantly, I feel like this is a big word, and it's a word that we own at Titan Energy, is we're rep-centric.
Yeah.
I think it's the rep first and instilling good values in that rep so that the rep, the leaders, the entire operational organization, and most importantly, the homeowner have an amazing renewable energy experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I was on the phone with some guys in Texas that are making the transition over. And at the end of the conversation, he's like, so you're just cutting out the middleman? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, that actually makes a lot of sense. Why aren't more companies doing this? And I said that you've kind of nailed it, right? We're just cutting out the middleman so the homeowner, the leader, the rep can have a better experience all around. And the fact that you said, like, when Titan was created, the owners, Kyle and David, right, the founders of the company, they got on a roof and figured it out. Mm-hmm. How many CEOs can say they've been on the roof, right, and harnessed up in the Arizona sun to try to figure out how to do solar and scale a business. That is the ultimate respect, because what that tells me is they're not theorists, they're practitioners. And I literally try to live my life by surrounding myself by you guys, which are practitioners. Because in this world, there is a ton of theorists and not a whole lot of practitioners.
And they all want to sell you their stock.
Yep. Yeah. So and it's stock, right? Like,
Right.
I got toilet paper, I got some stock, right?
Right.
So
Or chicken stock.
yeah.
But it's not worth too much stock, is it?
No, you know,
They promise us that it's going
Yeah.
to be worth a lot.
Yeah.
But in reality,
yeah,
hard work.
I want
results.
eggs. I want eggs instead right now.
Yeah, they're worth
Transmission
more.
to eggs.
They're worth more.
Because I try to feed my family off that stock, and they weren't getting full. So,
Yeah.
okay, all right, we'll get back to it. But no, 100%. You know, so Tony, tell me, you know, we had some in-depth conversations.
Yeah, we have.
Real and raw, right? Why Titan?
The alignment. We've talked about Titan and who they are, what they stand for, and what they've done over time, right? This isn't somebody that just started doing installations in solar over the past 2, 3, 5 years.
Yeah.
They have dug in. They're not perfect, and you have to be able to say that you're not perfect if you're gonna be willing to grow. But they've grown and they've perfected the process so that we don't have to worry about that process, and that frees me up to have a good day. Pete, like you said, when I wake up in the morning, I don't have the problems, the concerns, the worries, the 3 to 5 hours of managing problems before I can go out and try to pour energy in my team, much less be positive myself. I have all that back again. Like I'm starting from day one.
It's
like
like
I
a
just heard.
rebirth.
It
It's like
is.
born again.
It is.
Hallelujah.
It is.
Can I get an
What a great
amen?
feeling.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, you're not
Amen.
waking up tired. You're waking up inspired.
There's
And
a big difference.
yeah,
Yes,
there's a
is.
huge difference, and not only you feel like you've started over again, but your skill set is so much stinking higher, because we've kind of been through the ringer a little bit, and we know what works and what doesn't work. So then when you have like inspired action behind skill set, unstoppable, absolutely unstoppable, and that's what you guys have been.
And I think another cool thing here is we're empowered.
Yep.
We're all empowered. We're all given the levers to push and pull to assure that our homeowners have an amazing renewable energy experience, as well as our team members. We have that control. We're entrusted. We're entrusted by our senior leadership, such as Kyle and David and Matt, to have the levers to set the pace for us to grow and grow properly. And I think that really makes us feel good as well. I don't know about what your thoughts are on that, George. What do you
Well,
think?
I'll tell you right now, just to piggyback off of just it being a breath of fresh air, you know, my daughter, the Solar Princess, she actually even came to me and said, we were out playing golf one day, and she says, you know, Dad, you seem a lot happier now when you go to work.
Dang.
And that's a great feeling. That showed me, you know, not only that she's paying attention, but the fact that she was also able to notice a difference in my emotions, my personality, my attitude, my happiness or my joy, you know, and I said, wow, you know what, baby girl, I am. And I share it with you guys and all the other leaders all the time.
Yeah,
Like, man,
vulnerable.
I'm just so, not only to be back with you guys, not only to all be back together, who would have thunk this? Who would have thunk it? We're talking about 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
All starting in the industry at the same time, still green, some experience, didn't matter. We all part our ways, and here we are again. That's what lets you know it's the right time, we're at the right place, and I'm just proud and glad to be here with you guys and Titan.
Yeah.
Same here.
No,
Same here.
that's incredible, and it's funny that you mentioned that, and I guess like vulnerable, right? This is what it is, and so you know, my wife was like, "I'm happy that you're happy," and I'm like, that didn't really sink in until she's like, "I know you're with your previous company for 7 years, and it was tough, you know, parting ways." But what you've done, what you've grown so stinking fast, like it's unfathomable what we're creating. It's like we're pouring gasoline on this fire and it's going crazy all across the country. But she said, you're doing more than you ever have done in the space, but you're happy. You're spending time with the kids. Every day, the kids are expecting you to play soccer, 15 minutes a day, minimum, out there hustling. And you're doing that. But you're also, you know, taking time to spend time with me and fulfill my needs. Right, in our other businesses, it's like there's more of you to go around, and she said the core of it is because you've aligned with people that align with the results that you want, right? The core group, And so speaking of Titan, I know we talk a lot about Titan, but they just did an amazing partnership, right? And Pete said this partnership makes so much sense. So Pete, can you tell the people who Titan just partnered with? And it has to do with basketball.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh my God. Oh
I know
my
they
God.
partner with a lot of people, right? And that's our job is to partner with the right people to go up, right, together. But they just partnered with one of my favorite basketball teams.
The Phoenix Suns.
That makes sense, right?
It makes sense. It's the Suns.
Right.
The solar panels need the Suns.
Yeah. So,
This makes sense.
absolutely. And that is an exciting partnership that I know we're going to leverage. And it's amazing. Like, man, the Phoenix Suns, right?
Yeah.
How does solar work? The sun, it's crazy, right? But also the fact that they took time to partner with a really good basketball team historically, and they care. Like Phoenix Suns care. And I've done a lot of research. And I don't know if you remember George, AC Green, like some of the old school, like Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
Like, man, I'm getting those vibes, right? Now they have Booker and they have Chris Paul. And so I'm super excited for this partnership with the Phoenix Suns.
And it's not a little partnership.
No, it's huge.
Our name
Yep,
our
everywhere.
name is plastered over that arena.
No.
From top to bottom.
Yep. Yeah.
Even on the floor.
Yeah. That you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. It is everywhere. All right, George. So, I mean, part of my, weirdness, I guess, is I am a people person. I like watching people. And I see every time you walk into a room, I see this big old ring on your right hand. What is this ring? It looks like almost like you won a big sports competition.
So no, it's actually when I was in the vacation timeshare industry. It's a $1 million producer ring. So, only a few chosen ones will receive it for over $1 million of sales, and it's within a certain time period. There are other levels and so forth that, you can get all the way up to your master's jacket and so forth. But yeah, that's back in the day until before I made the transition over to solar.
Okay, let's stay on this ring for a second. So how many people do you know that won that $1 million ring?
A few that have won the ring,
A
but
few.
but the thing is that it depends on the time span that they receive it. So
Yeah.
some it may take 3 years, 4 years. I was able to achieve it within my first year and a half,
Jeez.
Wow. That
So
is
you're
crazy.
like top 1% of timeshare.
pretty much.
Okay, so with that being said, why did you leave timeshare to come to solar?
The opportunity knocked on my door, and I saw a much broader opportunity and open window to give me a little bit more joy and peace out of what I'm doing. Great. Listen, vacations are wonderful. Yes, they do serve a wonderful purpose, peace of mind, relaxation, get away, enjoy family. But the opportunity of solar was just so much greater because not only was I able to feel good about what I was offering and how I was able to help homeowners, I'm also able to sleep well at night knowing that there is no wrong choice of solar. It's just whether or not we're able to put that homeowner with the right program that fits them. And so, leaving from the timeshare industry and now being in the solar, it's a breath of fresh air. Once again, it's a continuing situation where you're always knowing that you're doing good for the homeowner. You're helping someone. You're getting them out of a bad situation that their only option is solar. And that's to own their power versus renting it.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I do know that you have dabbled into leasing, right? And now there's been massive costs in creating solar financing. And, obviously working with Titan, we have multiple ways to go and basically large net to go help homeowners. Can you talk a little bit about leasing and why it's important in this day and age?
Well, I mean, with leasing, it's a wonderful tool to be able to have, and I'm so glad that we have that opportunity to offer this to our homeowners. But with the market interest rates and inflation going up constantly, as everyone can see with the housing market, I mean, we're up 7% almost now. So when that happens, so does the dealer fees that are passed along to the homeowners when they're going to choose a loan. So when you choose the lease, it's giving them a much better opportunity of not having to deal with that higher dealer fee. Plus, for the fact that you have certain homeowners that don't qualify for that 30% tax credit. And now this alleviates that concern for them. and they're still able to move forward with solar without having any repercussions in the back of their mind if they don't qualify for that tax credit.
Yeah. So what you're saying is the ownership may not be for every single person on this earth.
Exactly. It's all about finding the right program for the homeowner, and we have those programs available. So just to have that in our arsenal is amazing. It just allows us to do that much more for that homeowner's special needs, whatever their requirements are.
And I totally understand. My first 250 installs were leases. And anybody that's listening, leases are essentially, they are PPAs, but they're not PPAs. Mm-hmm. There's no guarantee on a lease, right? We can go down the fine line. So anybody that's listening, in Florida, the equivalent outside of Florida and South Carolina is a PPA. So basically what you're saying is you now have tools to be able to help homeowners on a massive stage.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely love that, because you're able to go and help more homeowners, right? Especially with crazy, crazy times, because you're right. Not every single person on planet Earth is going to benefit from ownership. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm going to just go across the board here a little bit to Tony. Tony, you have been on a recruiting tear. Every time I walk into the office, there's just a gang around Tony. So, Tony, what has changed? How are you able to recruit so much? And I know, switching companies, different tools, processes, etc. But what has changed for you to level up your already high lid of leadership?
I think by changing attitude and energy, it starts there, right? You become attractive when that happens. And I believe that's what's happening. And that's organically. What we do at work is we help families to understand how solar works. By introducing that opportunity to be able to change your life, to change your financial trajectory, that should be just as organic when you're having that conversation with somebody who is just looking for a new opportunity. Maybe where they're at, and they've realized that maybe that 9-to-5 cubicle job is not their life's dream. Maybe they're limited to how far they can go. What if you could take the lid off? And more importantly, what if you had somebody that was willing to handhold you through the process to show you how to do what we've all done, right? Yeah. Solar was an opportunity that was shared with me by a very close friend. And before that opportunity was explained, before I dug in, before I pulled it apart to try to see how it couldn't possibly be true, right? In the end, it had to be true. And that's why I chose it. It didn't hurt, right, to be able to make this leap where, George, you had everything firing on all 6 cylinders when you made the leap to solar. Mm-hmm. I still have screenshots of when my bank account read -$6. So to go from there to then, we're taught in our church that responsible stewardship over your finances means that as soon as you're able, you create a month backlog to pay your bills in case something should happen to you as the primary earner, or if both people in your household, if your spouse also earns money. Once you go from a month, you go to 3 months. Once you get that 3 months down, you get 6, then a year. Without this opportunity, I would not be able to have all of my needs covered for the next 3 years. If I can provide that opportunity to somebody who's struggling, to somebody who just wants a change or has recognized that they can't go as far as they hoped they would when they started in that industry, then this is the industry for them. And I don't just say it, I can show them that. And because I have that belief, and it helps that I've got the proof to back it up, it makes it simple for them to at least take a look at it. And if they make the switch, I can guarantee that it's going to change not only where they're at now, but where they'll be in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months.
I love that. And I love that success doesn't care about a race, color, or creed, right? All success cares about is just giving that person an opportunity. And if that person will go capture our opportunity, they can literally change their life. Because I feel like almost everybody has that -$6 story, right? That struggle story they had to overcome to get to where they want to be. But that's part of being a practitioner. That's part of being a person of your word. That is part of why you lead from the front, why you're such a good leader, because we've all been there where we've struggled and things got tight and we overcame. Because of that, we can actually teach others how to do the same thing. If we've never been there, if we've never had questionable stuff happen in our life, then we're simply a theorist and we're not going to be able to have the highest level of leadership. So that's something I noticed about leaders. We've all had to overcome some major obstacle that has set us back.
For sure.
Let's talk about rep-centric, right? I want to focus on this for 2023. What does rep-centric mean to you? Because in the past, I feel like it's just been like, hey, take care of the leader. That is all that matters. But I feel like the industry is changing and it's not the good old boys club anymore, right? It is everybody has the opportunity to come in and win. And we just literally just talked about that with coming from any other background, race, religion, right, with the right opportunity. And part of that right opportunity is rep-centric. So, George, what does rep-centric mean to you?
I mean, that pretty much all boils down to one option, and that's the fact that everyone has room to grow, and no one is being held back. Again, there is no secrecy. There is no secret sauce. The only secret sauce is hard work. Maintaining your integrity and character, but now also while you're doing that, you're able to show any of the other reps or new team members that may come on board, we're giving them something to see that's possible. And it's throughout our actions and our everyday character and personality of who we are. Rep-centric is just really it's about full transferability.
And I think it's also important, rep-centric, the core of that. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are too, Tony and George and Jory, is that there's no layers. We're not into that whole layer thing, people sitting behind desks trying to make money off of somebody. It's about helping each other. I'm sure that we all are compensated well for our positions, but our driver is to help others. Our driver is to support, like answering our phones and supporting our team members, our leaders. That commitment to giving them an amazing experience goes far beyond the old school of layers upon layers of people making money off of people making money off of people making money versus everybody just helping each other and being builders and building an organization.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. It's not that I guess we'll get real here, right? So people say the red line's dead. It's not dead, right? It's not only about red line, it's about bottom line, but I believe that massive, massive solar stack is dead. I don't think it's going to last for the next year or two because, companies are putting them, they're margining themselves out of business, right? And we've seen a lot of companies come and go over the last year or two. And that's one thing I love about Titan is that not only are we rep-centric, not only do we not have a bunch of layers, right? But not only do we have all those things, but we actually give back to our people. We have a sales platform, right? Competitions, swag, right? Leadership, like brother and sisterhood, a bond. And we're still able to do that without gouging the rep. So, Tony, what does rep-centric mean to you?
That stems from being a servant leader. And when you lead from that servant's heart, you can't take advantage of the people that you're given charge over. You can't do it and not last, right? In this industry, you'll work yourself out or the organization will see you out. It's one of the reasons I'm happy to be here. By understanding the specific skill sets and needs of every individual that walks through the door and wants to make the most of this opportunity, I can help them to pinpoint what they're really good at and use that to be successful in their personal lives, in area, in their interactions with the homeowner, with each of us, and with each other. And it helps them to be a stronger individual. By empowering them with the ability to do that, whether they stay with us or whether they go, they're going to be a better individual for it. That's what I'm in it for. And when you give them that level of love and support, they are going to want to stay.
Man, whoo, love people. There's that old saying is, what if we invest in these people and they leave? It's like, well, what if we don't invest in them and they stay? Right? And that's what it's all about, is investing in people that trust you. Because I remember when I started this space when I was 18 years old, and all I got was a notebook and an area. And they said, we'll pick you up in 8 hours. Good luck. And my first door, I almost threw up. The little old lady corrected me, and I had a mental breakdown for a while, but I was able to push through, get a sale and alarms, and then it canceled. And so the old days of, hey, good luck, go figure it out, it's not going to happen here, right? If you want our reps to have a better experience faster, there's a level of empowerment, a level of hand-holding. It's finding that secret like middle ground where they still feel supported, but they also feel independent, and they feel empowered to go do what they need to do. So what are your thoughts on that, Pete?
Well, for me, I'm reflecting as you're saying that on the fact of the amount of high talent leaders that we have put together underneath one roof to support the rep-centric mindset of helping to motivate and personally develop each and every one of the team members that come on board to assure their highest level of success is by far the highest I've ever seen in the industry. That is our commitment. And I think that's why this is the year that we dedicated to that word, rep-centric. We don't want to forget that we were that rep at some point too. And maybe when we were thrown into an area without any tools, without any fathers above us and mothers above us to share their parental wisdom of the industry to help guide us towards that higher level of success quicker and seamlessly. So now we have that opportunity with the amount of leaders, the high talented leaders that we have assembled underneath one roof. We can now share all our wisdom to get the reps to the finish line faster, quicker, with an amazing rep-centric experience.
Yeah, it's uncommon leadership. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for your leadership. We're not in the podcast or anything. I just feel the need to say thank you because you've made this experience so much better.
And it's not easy being a leader. Yeah, it's selfless. It's selfless.
Definitely. It is one of the hardest things. Sometimes I'm like, as I'm like dealing with fires, because we always have fires and we got to put them out and overcome them. I'm just like, man, how much easier would it just to go out and knock 40 doors right now? How much easier would it be to go knock 40 more doors? Yeah. Hey, that's it. Right? That's it. And so, no, I just really want to make sure that we all resonate on that word rep-centric and being fair. And just like we're fair to the homeowners, but we're fair to the reps, right? We want our reps to win because even if they go somewhere else, we want them to understand what they've learned here. They're able to take with them to that next career, that next portion of their life, to their families, to their loved ones, and make their life better, have an impact on their life and their next career. And that's what it's all about.
I think that's another very important point. I think that from top to bottom in our organization, there's no paranoia.
No.
We're just focused on giving the reps, we call them team members, capital T, capital M, because that's how high we value them, an amazing experience. And if we're going to be concerned about something, we're concerned, are we giving that team member a good experience or could we do better? And that's how we retain, build, develop, grow new leaders from those retained team members.
Yeah, and that comes back to feeling safe and making mistakes. I always joke and say, I like watching the show Survivor, not playing the game Survivor, right? You have to feel safe in making mistakes and overcoming and growing, right? Because we all made mistakes somewhere along. None of us are perfect, right? We don't just hide our muscles and make more muscles, right? Like we literally make mistakes, we grow, we evolve. And if you're not evolving, you're devolving as a leader. And if you devolve as a leader, you're not gonna be able to give your rep that best experience possible.
That's part of evolution, right? Our evolution is based on the hardships that we endured in the beginning, right? When you're talking about being 18, being dropped off an area by yourself with a notebook, we don't do that to our team members. They are armed with the best possible tools because it's what we were lacking when we started.
Yeah.
Right? So to be able to plan your day the night before and know the first 20 homes that you want to go talk to is powerful. because it gets you out of your home, out of your front door, out of your car door in area so that you can perform. And that's what we do. Every time that we step on that street, we are performing. And because we have the tools to do it, we do it well. And if you're not doing it well wherever you are right now, it's one more reason for you to come over here and take a look.
And I think we look really good too. I mean, the swag that we have is super awesome. We're always decked out in our Titan swag, ready to roll, high level of professionalism, how we roll down the streets, the tools we have, our knocking software, our canvassing software by far is the absolute best software out there. We have 2 CRMs. Not only do we have NetSuite, but we have Salesforce. We have invested deeply in our people so that they have all the tools to survive. We have all the university tools. We have door-to-door university.
Sam Taggart, yep.
We were just talking the other day about what price can we put? We were just talking the other day of what price we could put on the education that we're giving here, the formula for success. It's got to be the cost of a higher education at an Ivy League school.
Yeah, no, so we're going to keep on that trend of vulnerability, right? It took me, so I followed the normal summer sales. I stopped school early and got ready for the summer. It took me 7.5 years to get my 4-year degree. I went to 4 different universities. It was a mess, but I finally got my degree. And do you know where that degree sits?
Where?
Right above my computer that I never use because I use an iPad. Right. and I mean, I learned not a whole lot from getting my degree. I think it showed that I can start something and finish something. Right. But I mean, I did it because I'm the first ever 4-year graduate in my family's lineage. And so I wanted to make sure I was doing that because at least my daughters have to graduate high school. But you're absolutely right. Like we've learned so much over these years. People will learn in 1 year what they learn in 4 years at an Ivy League, and they're going to be able to use useful, impactful tools to go and make their families' lives and people's around them better and make money. Because there's so many people that come out of college and they can't get a job. And sometimes jobs say they need a master's degree to make $50,000 a year in this economy, right? But we are basically giving them like a door-to-door universal level, Ivy League level of training to go out and make moves in this crazy economy, right?
And we're here, not just textbook, not just video, but we're here with the highest level assembled leaders with the most massive amount of wisdom. We're professors, but we're professors that came from, and most of us are still in the trenches.
Yes.
Tried and true every day to hold their hands and guide our reps to assure their success and to assure their education, their Ivy League education monetizes into a career that enables them to dominate.
Yep. So I started the space in 2008. I'm the youngest one. I graduated high school in 2007, the youngest one here, right? Okay.
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 It's all about Jory.
Hold on. This has somewhere to go. There's a point. I literally graduated high school and a recession hit. Right? And then right now, right? We're going through some crazy stuff, right? And so I've literally been through 2 recessions since I graduated high school, but I've made a lot of money because of this impact I've had through door-to-door. And when I started door-to-door in 2008, like entrepreneur was not a sexy word. Like people told me I would never make money, I would fail miserably. And now it seems like young men and women and older generation are like entrepreneur is the thing. 9 to 5 is not it. But when I started, it was get a 9 to 5. This is what you do. And so kind of bring it all full circle. I am so grateful that I met Brandon Schaumbert at Salt Lake City Amtrak station, and you told me about opportunity to make $10,000 that summer, and I made 19, but you told me about an opportunity, and I had enough as an 18-year-old kid to say, you know what? Why not? Why not? So I hope some of that resonates with somebody listening to this podcast and you want more, right? Like look us up, like come see what we're about. If you're with another company, come see what we're about. It is different. It's not about just the dollar. It's about the passion. It's about creating like a better world.
There's a reason why people go to an Ivy League school versus a non-Ivy League school. Nothing wrong with non-Ivy League school, nothing wrong with community colleges, but statistics show that if you go to an Ivy League school, when you come out, traditionally, you're hired by bigger organizations that pay higher. And it doesn't matter if you have a college education or you don't have a college education here at Titan. But one thing is for sure, if you come through our organization, under our roof, with all our leaders that are like professors at an Ivy League school, you're going to graduate and have an incredible Ivy League career in solar like you've never seen before.
Yeah.
With honors.
Magna
for sure.
cum laude, right?
We all have an MBA. We all have an MBA in solar from all our journey to where we got to this day.
Yeah.
And now we're sharing it with others under one roof. I think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. No, I always tell, like, when I'm like recruiting college kids, I always tell them, like, when you graduate college, do you want the separator to be that you worked at a hot dog stand for 4 years, or you went and made a company $1 million in sales? What's going to separate you from when you actually go and sit down in front of somebody? What's going to separate you? And door to door is that separation. It is not sexy. It is tough. It is hard. It rains. There's snow. It's hot, right? It's not sexy. But what is sexy is the impact that we make on the environment and the impact financially that we make in our pocketbooks, right? I am so grateful for the opportunity. I never thought from being, to be honest, like a small, like black kid from Oregon, right, in an all-white school, I can make something of myself. And so I went and got my degree, right? And then I went and did more door-to-door. And I used my door-to-door skills to pay for my degree cash, right? And then I was able to go buy my first home when my wife found out we had a baby on our way. There's so many wins in door-to-door. And so I just wanted, like, this anybody listening, I just want you to just go bet on yourself.
That's the key right there.
Go bet on yourself.
If you're the kind of person that will bet on you, this is where you should be.
Bet
That's
on
the
you.
person you want to be. Is you always want to bet on yourself. The man in the mirror. That's the one who's going to tell you to go. You got to listen to it, and you got to believe in it. And if you believe in yourself enough, this is the job for you. This is the space for you.
If you're not building out for you, you're building out for somebody else. And I did that for too long. I am not Jory's age. When I came to this space, it was to buy back time. And what I've learned and what I can teach others to do, translatable skills, will allow them to work in any industry and stand out from the crowd, to differentiate, like Jory was talking about. Because what you learn to do here is magnify every skill, every talent, every gift you've been given, and use it to its fullest, utmost capacity. Can you say that where you are now?
Oh, man.
Drop the mic.
So I hope some of you guys remember Steve Prefontaine, right? One of the best American distance runners. He grew up where I grew up, but he says to give anything less than your best is to sacrifice your gift. And I recently heard a saying, I don't know who said it, but they said, some men and women die at 25, but get buried at 75. Because when they graduate college, typically they are just giving up on their dreams because they want to go with what's safe because they're not willing to bet on themselves. So bet on yourself.
Bet on the man in the mirror.
Yeah, I love it. Tony, I heard, though, you were a realtor at one point.
Yeah, got my license,
You got your license?
hung it up.
Pete, were you a realtor too?
I have a real estate license.
Okay, all right. So
George?
My wife has a real estate license.
Okay. That's the same thing.
Yeah,
It's-
that's right. It's in the family.
I don't have my license, but I will.
What'd you do with it?
I do not. I do not have it.
You don't have a real estate license?
I don't have a real estate license.
Okay.
I don't have a real estate license. So one thing I will say is I'm seeing a lot of realtors shift over to solar. So this question is to you, Tony. Why did you stop being a realtor and want to get into solar? And what advice do you have to any realtors that are looking for a different opportunity?
At the time, I had very good mentorship from a mom and pop shop, right? If you're not under a big realtor banner, then they're individuals who've been doing real estate for their lives. It was their livelihood. And they taught me very good lessons. They were fantastic at it. But during that market turndown, it doesn't matter how good you are. If they're not moving, they're not moving. If they're not moving, you're not making money. That's why I hung up my license. And it was from that point forward, I relied on the skills that I had built before then in customer service and in management and in helping building businesses. It's a good lifestyle. It's good money. But there's either a cap or you have to keep jumping from ship to ship to build out the next person that needs your help, right?
Yeah.
Here, we're helping to drive, to steer the ship. And because we get to help captain it, when we're directing that course, we have more opportunities day over day, year over year, where I had to decide to hang up that real estate license. With all that I've seen in the 4 going on 5 years here, there's nothing in the industry that's happening currently or that we can foresee that would make me want to hang up my solar license.
I like it. Pete, we're talking a little bit. There's some similarities in real estate and solar.
For sure. It's a lot of work in both. I think that solar is something that could complement real estate agents for sure. Real estate agents are networking. They're canvassing neighborhoods. They're putting door hangers on people's homes. They're networking to get home listings, to make relationships within a residential community. In the same time that they're doing that, to get a listing that might be on the market in good times a week, but in average times 3 to 6 months to sell a home, right? And that same time, they could be canvassing that same neighborhood. In normal times, they could be canvassing that same neighborhood to enroll families and help families see if they qualify for our solar program, and they could be earning every week in doing that. So I think at the very least, it complements their existing real estate license. So that's why we're noticing a lot of real estate agents coming on board and joining our cause.
Yeah, I had one realtor knock on my door one time, ask me if I want to sell my home. And I'm like, whoa, like that's insane, right? That's insane. That's where
Wow, can you imagine just knocking on the door, like instead of sharing with them how the solar program works, like knocking on a door, like you come to my door and knock on my door, you want to sell my home, I'll be like, you're trespassing. Get out of here, right?
Yeah.
That's a tough job.
That is a tough job, right? And people are probably more apt to listen. Well, not more apt, but they are going to listen to how we save homeowners money on a daily basis, as opposed to how do you sell your home and then buy another home, right? That's crazy. What's next to come door to door? Mortgages? Probably. I don't know.
Probably.
So speaking of like door to door, I've had a lot of door to door guys come to my neighborhood. Pest control, alarms, right? Lawn care.
You should recruit them.
Oh, no, definitely. Some are part of our organization.
Nice.
But why would you sell solar, Pete, over anything like else door to door?
I think it's as sustainable as the solar panels are. I think that our industry has long-term growth. It's really making a difference. It's very unique. It differentiates us. It's a global cause. Everybody needs our help. Not everybody's going to qualify. You have to own your own home. You have to have the right type of home, right? So for me, I feel that this is something so meaningful that it's driven by, I'm a passion guy, that I can get the passion behind it. And I think that's what we all have. We all have a lot in common. Maybe we originally started with curiosity, but from that curiosity, as we got on board the Great Green Mission train, we grew this into a passionate lifestyle to help ourselves, to help others, and to help our planet.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree completely. It does like pay more, but also
For me, I think that's a byproduct.
Yeah.
But like Tony, to Tony's point, it gives many of us a second chance on life. Maybe you went through your first half of your life going from job to job, career to career, opportunity to opportunity, that may have been some better than others. and then you get to a certain point in your life where you feel like this is it, and now you could jump onto a whole new plateau, a whole new level of passion
Yep.
that could catch you up, fill your 401k back up,
Yep.
and fill up your bank account for 1, 2, 3, or even 4 years reserves.
Yep.
And then go on that, and now I just have fun with the passionate part, and the money is the byproduct.
Yeah, no, I was talking to a recruit yesterday, and she's like, "Well, why are you doing this?" And I'm like, "Listen, every year my name is eligible for the NFL draft, and I don't get called, and so until that happens, I'm doing solar." Right? And she just laughed. I'm like, "That's just how I look at it," because I spent so many summers, 7.5 summers to be exact, to literally going out, packing my family, driving to a location I've never been, spending time in terrible neighborhoods, 8-9 hours a day, selling that product, alarms back then, or it's pest control or dish or lawn care. And after those 4 months, I'd come back home and get nothing but complaints. I never got referrals. No one wanted to give me referrals for alarms. But George, you are the master at building a book of business and getting referrals. And I think this is one thing that separates all those other things. We can talk about money and what's right for the environment, but a book of business where people refer people to you over and over again. So can we talk a little bit about how you do referrals and how do you do it so stinking well? Because I hear your phone just buzzing all the time. Zzz, zzz, zzz. Like, oh, I got another referral. So how do you separate yourself from others on that referral game that's a long lasting, as Pete said, book of business, lifestyle?
Well, I mean, it's more or less it's actually building a business for your homeowners. So once your homeowners had that great experience that you're providing them and the service that goes along with helping a homeowner go forward with solar, not only do they want to talk about it, but they want to share that with any and everyone that they know. So, building that referral program, however it may be that you want to work it out for yourself or your team or whatever, I just think that it's a solid program to where not only does it allow the homeowner to introduce you to other families and know that they're going to be taken care of in a secure way, but it also allows them to make money on the back end that if they choose to. I have a homeowner right now that referred probably over 22 homeowners in their neighborhood. That's over $17,000 that they made just from referrals from me. So they're in year 3 now with their solar. They still haven't made a single solar payment out of their pocket.
Wow.
It's a really great way.
I like what you said. You said you're putting your homeowners in business.
Yeah.
You're building them a business.
Exactly. You're building them a business, but also they're knowing that now when they go to share the word and share the interest of solar and what's being available to move forward solar, they're now protected. Why? Because you took care of them right, and they know you're going to take care of whomever they refer you to right.
So it's like a side hustle. Right? Everyone wants I got 100 side hustles, right? And here's the number one. After you go solar, refer your friends and family to George Page. Number one side hustle.
There we go.
You want to make some money. Done.
That's it.
All the other videos don't matter.
That's it.
So, and you generally care. Like, you meet some phenomenal people in this space, right? So, like, dig deep in your mind. Who's the coolest, who's the coolest homeowner you've met? Or what have they done that you're just like, what?
I would say it would probably be a homeowners that I met that they were both served in our Air Force, and they were both. The wife was a corporal, and the husband, I want to say, was an officer.
Okay.
So she pulls her rank.
Yeah.
But it was crazy because they were phenomenal people, and they actually moved from California. So when they came to Florida from California, they already had solar on their home in California. They knew what they wanted, but they were referred to me by one of my homeowners that knew them, that was also in the military. But they were just a great family, that a couple that, they go above and beyond for our country. They're still traveling and so forth, but they were just, and also they love cooking. They were from New Orleans, from Louisiana.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So we shared sauces. Actually on the day that they were getting installed, I ordered a box of specially made hot sauces that were from New Orleans. It was an all natural, and that was just like over the top for them. And they still send me pictures right now.
Yeah.
Whenever they cook different types of items from that they want to cook, barbecue, whatever it may be, of the different sauces that they use. Yeah,
Man, that I get like chills because that is a referral magnet like machine. So like take notes right now. Like that story is compelling, right? And that connection with the homeowner is phenomenal.
Relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Tony, you've had time to think about it. What is your like aha, like that's insane homeowner, what they do for a living or they're passionate about?
When you get to know them and you get to know what they like, you can personalize what that referral is going to be. Yeah. Right? So there's a family who just so down to earth, their date night is Dairy Queen. So instead of dropping off a Visa gift card or cash, this is how they spend their time together. So the referral bonuses come in the form of Dairy Queen gift cards. And every time they get it, there's always a smile on their face. Are they paying off their solar with it? No, they're not. They're not. But they have time. They spend time together. And it's that relationship that they use to go talk to their friends and family, their neighbors, that if I'll remember something like that in our interaction, to the point where now they text me on their birthdays, on my birthday, right? That's just good practice to get to learn to know your families well and reach out to them on their personal days. When they start reaching back out to you, that's a different dynamic, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that they would be offended if one year you gave them like a Weight Watchers gift card?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go down that road.
So it's.
I'm thinking you're giving them gift cards every year. Like they might be growing. Like you're really encouraging that Dairy Queen.
Number one side hustle. So before I get to Pete, that's funny. Like because I hear I see a lot of like people complain about door to door and how it's like car salesmen. But what you're hearing is people that are passionate about door to door, and there's no salesmanship here. It's just caring about other human beings while being a human being. And the more like relatable, humanized you make yourself, vulnerable you make yourself, the more people you're going to attract, not just recruiting to work with you, but also want to go solar with you because they understand that you are a person.
But I'd like to add to that recipe also best practices, our integrity, our confidence and integrity level, and our knowledge.
Yep.
Well, our confidence in our knowledge, we want to help that family the right way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think there's a whole formula of what we do, but for sure.
All right, Pete, you have enrolled a lot of people, and till this day, you set the record in Florida with 279 installs, all self-generated, no setter, right? I want to make sure that's clear. No setter, self-generated. What is like the craziest like homeowner they've done for a living, and you're just like, what?
Craziest homeowner, what they did for a living. Well, I've met all kinds, I'll tell you that. I don't know about the craziest, but I had a homeowner that was an Olympic roller skater.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I didn't even know there's a thing, but like won like gold medals for roller skating. So that was pretty exciting. And not only that, did she show me all her pictures of her roller skating, but then she began to play like this like 1930s pipe organ in her home, and she was like killing it on the pipe organ. So like you meet all nice kinds of people when you're building relationship, building rapport. You have the confidence to help them do it the right way. You're bold, and you're sometimes you're talking to people that have their own opinion on things, and you've got to share your knowledge in a confident way, right? And once you earn their respect and you have a relationship with them, they want to share with you like their life history.
Yeah.
So
level of comfortability, right? So in the home you're a guest, on the doorstep you're a pest.
Yes, for sure. I love that. So Jory, what is one of the craziest homeowners you went to?
Oh, thank you, Pete. Thank you. So it was a referral, right, from some just doing my job, and I was watching Hulu one day. And I'll shout it out. They're not paying us, but Queen of the South on Hulu. Or actually, Netflix. Netflix.
I love it. You see the whole series?
Yeah, the whole series. Okay?
Oh, it's great.
So the latest season, I'm watching Queen of the South, and they're in New Orleans. And
Great show.
And this lady's doing an ultrasound on one of the guests or one of the people on the show, and then I'm like, Tracy? I'm not gonna say her last name, but then and she ends up getting murdered by the cartel, and I'm like, hey, I just watched Queen of the South, and this person looks exactly like you, and you just they just got murdered. And she's like, oh yeah, that's me. I'm like, what? And she's like, no, I just flew 6 months ago. I flew to New Orleans and shot this, and I'm an actress. And I'm like, how come you never told me you're an actress? And she's all these commercials. I see her on these commercials all the time. And she's like, oh, you never asked. And I'm like, wow, that's insane. And since then, though, since calling her out from being on Queen of the South, she's given me 5 referrals, and they've all been crazy, they won a Emmy Award for puppeteering on Sesame Street, or directed things, and she introduced me this whole layer of Disney related.
Don't tell me the Cookie Monster.
No, I don't know which one.
I love the Cookie Monster.
Yeah, so but it's just insane as you get to know people, right? How impressive their stories are.
That's huge. But Jory, before we go around the table, and George and Tony, you have time to think about your crazy enrolled family. I understand that there was a really crazy thing you asked a homeowner to do one time. You were late. You were late to go somewhere. You're enrolling a family. I don't know if they signed up or not, but is it true? What's the story about you? Did you take a shower in a homeowner's home?
All right. So, okay. So, I was 18 years old. Okay.
18.
So, that was a long time ago. So I was enrolling. So it was back in alarms, and I enrolled the family, and they wanted me to date their granddaughter. So I said, let me see a picture, right? I was 18. So, and so I said, you know what, let's go out with this granddaughter. I was, kid, 18, and I was knocking on doors and homeowner. And I'm like, and I ended up enrolling her, and the tech was on his way. I'm like, you know what? I got a date tonight. I got an hour and a half drive back to my apartment. Do you mind if I take a shower real quick so I can go on my date? And she was like, yeah, not a problem. Go ahead. It was the craziest thing. I went for it. I was bold, and I had a great time with that young lady. It didn't work out, but I will say this, that I love my wife.
Good answer. There you go. But that's got to be the craziest thing I ever heard. And that's why you've signed and sold so many deals yourself and set so many records, because you're so bold. And you know how to ask for the clothes. You know how to ask for the clothes, or take off your clothes and take a shower in their home. That's awesome, Jory.
It was wild. It was a wild summer, and I love solar because it is a lot more mellow and more consistent throughout the year.
Awesome. Maybe we should have an incentive. You think we should have an incentive? Anybody can do
Absolutely
a
not.
selfie shot taking a shower?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not.
So, Tony, what is the most interesting, unique, or odd situation you've had in enrolling a homeowner or a family?
To test my mettle, I think, the first company that I worked for, their manager put me in an area of town that I wasn't familiar with. My wife and I used to drive 2 hours north to get to Orlando. We lived in Vero Beach. So she would come with me. And in area, she was sitting in the car with the windows rolled down. And she watched me approach this home. And when the guy came out, he was already screaming. Right? This is day 3 or 4 on the job. And she's already afraid, because now she's understood that this community in central Orlando called Pine Hills can kind of have a reputation, right? My job was to go there and find families to help. So I found families to help. I didn't see anything else. I never had any issues in that neighborhood, and still go and serve those families today. But when she heard him yelling, she was ready to drive the car over, go get a cop, call 911, whatever it was going to take to bail me out of that situation. And within 10 minutes of letting him vent, for me being the 4th or 5th person to knock on that door that week, that day, when I went inside, she was more scared. And we were in there for a good 20 minutes. When I came out with the information that we needed, right, to help see if he would qualify for the program, she was like, what were you thinking? Going in that guy's home, he sounded like he wanted to kill you. I was like, he was just having a bad day. I never know what their day is like before I get there, but it becomes my responsibility, if I can, to help them have a good day once they've met me.
Wow.
And Not only has he been installed since 2018, he's produced referrals. He's helped families in his neighborhood. When they have questions, he directs them to me. And we've had a good relationship since.
Nice.
All from that yelling at the doorstep and scaring my wife into thinking this was not the industry for me to be in.
Wow, now look at you now.
So, George, is there any crazy story that you could share with us in a home of a family that you were attempting or enrolling?
Yes, it was a family that I did enroll, and I call this the dirty diaper story. And the reason why it's a dirty diaper story is because this family, they had about four or five kids, and one was a toddler.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the closing, while we're signing all of the docs, getting everything set up, and back then this was when we're scheduling the site survey analysis right then and there. All of a sudden, this dirty diaper comes over and slaps right on the table right next to me. The homeowner's to my right. I'm to the left of the homeowner, and the dirty diaper is sitting right there, and literally everyone in the house acted like it didn't happen. So you know what I did? I acted like it didn't happen, and I sat there next to that dirty diaper all the way through until the sale was over.
That stinks.
That's their dirty diper story.
Wow.
I'll never forget that one. Yeah, man.
That is a story.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
crazy. Yeah, they were running around the house with it, and all of a sudden, plop, there it is on the table. Let's keep rolling. I don't smell a diaper at all.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Tough in the trenches.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
Mentality.
you never know what you're going to get or see. But like Tony said, at the end of the day, it's our job to change that experience, whether it's a bad experience, into a good experience, or to continue the good experience that they may have.
And Jory, I've been knocking with you a couple of times, and I'll tell you, when I knocked with you, it was pretty crazy. You know, you go to all types of neighborhoods. There I am knocking with you in a neighborhood, and you got to be quick with you because, like, I just blinked my eyes at the front door when you were talking to a homeowner, and you disappeared. The homeowner was still at the front door. I was still at the front door, and you disappeared. And then I glare in. You are sitting at the kitchen table. I've never seen something so fast, so efficient, so perfect before in my life. That's incredible. Is that a special move? Is that like a Jury the Juice move? What sort of?
No, I literally, the homeowner said, "Hey, let's go inside," and I just walked inside. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do. His door was open. He said, "Hey, come inside. Let's chat about it," and walked inside. And so I was just, we're ready, right? We're ready. We always, you got to always be ready, right? So you don't have to get ready. And if I would have hesitated, and and lost confidence, and he probably wouldn't have, be able to see what solar is all about.
Yeah.
So I was just ready for the moment. Like, to me, anytime I knock on a door, in my mind, they're going solar, right? Like they're going, they're going solar. Now, I'm not going to be brash or pushy, but I realize when I have more success, my thought process has changed. It's, okay, they're going solar. If they're they have a red truck and they're in the driveway, I always say red trucks love solar, right? Or Priuses, we all look at Priuses and like, they love solar. Teslas, they love solar. So why can't we have that same mindset with people that have a garden? Why can't we have that same mindset with people that have a vehicle of any kind? It's just all what we tell ourselves.
Yeah, I always think like people have electricity. They need solar. They're going solar today.
Absolutely. But when you speak from that state of confidence, it's a different vibe. It's a different feel from that homeowner, because who's ever most confident at the door is going to win. Right? So if we go in there like, hopefully they want solar, or maybe they want solar, I hope they answer. Absolutely not. It won't work. Mm-hmm. But if we go in there with our chest back, confident, standing at, perpendicular to the homeowner, chest open, right? And we speak with confidence and we act with confidence, we're going to close more people. We're going to affect more lives. We're going to have more kilowatts. We're going to have more kilowatts installed than we ever thought possible. It's all about confidence. So I want to transition real quick. So I know we're going to wrap up soon, but I want to transition real quick to our CRMs. And so Tony is one of the best when it comes to our CRMs and all of our tools and processes. So Tony, can you speak a little bit about Titan and our inside platform of how we have all these different CRMs that help us go win?
being able to monitor what each job is doing so that the families have transparency into what their timeline is going to look like has been a blessing, because like you'd said earlier, they have questions. And if you can look that up and get an answer back to them within 20 seconds, within 2 minutes, that level of communication, when they recognize that you said it's going to be there, but you prove it out that it's going to be there, it allows us to be men of our word, women of our word, right? And I think that goes a long way when you're trying to cement a relationship that you built, whether it was 30 seconds on the door, 30 minutes to an hour in their home, or longer if they had questions. But if you can prove out step by step that you're going to be there because you said you would be, and you can prove that to them, it just makes all the difference in the world. That you build that trust, and once it's there, it's always there, and it continues to be there. You'll have to feed it, but I'd rather feed that than having to go back and try to fix problems that I never should have had to fix if the operation side, if the tools weren't already in place. That's what gives me the confidence to excel in this arena.
You know, I also love the fact with our CRMs also beyond that is that we have the opportunity to be the front lines of ourselves and our team's customer service.
Yep.
Those CRMs, to be able to look at a family even 6 months or a year from now, and if there's any challenge with that homeowner, we love when a homeowner calls us up a year or 2 years later because it might be a referral, right?
Yep.
But I answer the phone on the first ring, even if maybe I hear from my families every month, right, for referrals, right? But what if I hear from them 2 years later? 9 out of 10, it could be a referral, or they could have a problem, right?
Yep.
I love those calls because I know we have all the levers here to push and pull to help them with their problem and get it resolved timely. We're the first line of defense, and our CRM enables us to reach out to the departmentalized divisions of our organization to get results. We don't have to go through a sales guy or a VP of accounting or finance or sales to do that. We can go right to the permit people, to the roof people, to the warranty people, to the escalation people at our organization to help our families. And I think that, again, separates us from everybody else in the industry,
Yep.
which is more sales-centric versus rep-centric, which is essential to be rep-centric because reps want to take care of their families. That's how they build a book of business. That's how they stay. That's how everybody's happy.
Yep. So even more than that, it's not just you can go to that person. You can go to that person in charge of that individual branch that's servicing that customer in all of our locations, right? To be able to get those things taken care of at a lot, microscopic level to make sure the homeowner has a better experience.
And they know what they're doing. They're specialists in what they're doing. They weren't like yesterday doing this and now they moved to that. There's our HOS specialist. There's our permitting specialist. There's our design specialist. There's our head of operations for that branch. It's all there.
And to have one-to-one access to them saves all the time, where in the past it would take days, weeks, even months to solve whatever that issue was.
Yeah.
And they're all happy and they love their job, so they're just that more enthused to make sure they help you resolve any issues and problems that you may have.
Yeah.
They really love their job.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're getting rid of that middleman, right? And so as we're bringing on more people, different dealers, they're always like, well, I talk to my dealer. I trust them to do this and this and this and this, and none of it gets done. All the failed promises. And that's why we're the hot chick right now. People love us right now, right? Because we're able to go direct to the source, make it happen, grow fast, get installs done correctly in a timely manner, and have fun while doing it.
With all that, with a tremendous amount of optionality too.
Yep.
Don't forget that we have more options and more ways to offer energy efficiencies, different panel choices at a very, very competitive national offering.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. More financing, just whatever it takes for your homeowner to have the best experience. Right? And that's what it's about. That's what 2023 should be about. Rep-centric focus, not sales, organization focus. We care about reps. We are nothing without reps. Matter of fact, to me, setters and closers are completely equal. If not, the setters have a little more important part in our organization, right? So it's all about that. So we're going to wrap up. We got to go service homeowners and our reps and Rep Central focus. So I want you guys to give us some words of wisdom, some affirmations, something, right, to get the people motivated, get them going. And I'm going to start with George Page, the godfather of solar.
Well, thank you. I think the words of wisdom would be, you know what, come make a difference. Choose something that's going to make a difference, not only for yourself, but for others. Don't be selfish. Show gratitude, and this is the perfect opportunity where every day it's a new opportunity, but with the same results and with the same drive, and that is to do good for others.
Okay, I love that one. All right. Tony, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Bet on you. If you're not happy where you're at, if there's a question as to whether or not you can excel in what you're doing right now, you owe it to yourself to see if this is a better opportunity for you. And we'll help you magnify the skill set, the talents that you already have. If it's a good fit, we'll help you be successful. If it's not, we'll let you know that too, so you can find what is. But this is the place to be. I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't ask you to look at it if I didn't believe that 100%.
Love it.
And how about you, Jory? Didn't you just get a new tattoo?
I did get a new tattoo.
What is your new tattoo?
It says E plus R equals O, and I am terrible at geometry or algebra, whatever this is, but I understand this, and it basically means that you cannot control the events that happen in your life, but you can control the response factor of that event, whether it's positive or negative, it's moving forward or backwards. And with that, it's gonna equal your outcome, right? You're gonna have a positive outcome or you're gonna have a negative outcome. So if you guys read Above the Line by Urban Meyer, he talks about it a lot. I live by this motto. I tattooed it on me. It's so important. I run my life by it. E plus R equals O. Your events that happen to you plus your response is going to equal your outcome or opportunity.
That's awesome, Jory. And I'd just like to close it out and just sharing from my vantage point of what I feel did the best for me, and I'd like to share this word of wisdom with everybody out there, is open your heart, open your mind, and embrace this opportunity. When I did that, that's when all good things happened. If you could open your heart, embrace this opportunity by opening your heart and mind, you will forever go to the next level and prosper, especially at our organization with what that we're doing and how many great leaders we have under one roof to help show you the way.
Love it. Be a Titan, guys. Thank you for listening.
Be a Titan! Let's go!
No better place to be.